Jake Martinez stood in the parking lot of the motel, watching the manager nail a notice to his door. Unit 12, the place he'd called home for 3 months, with his daughter Emma. "You got 48 hours, the manager said without looking at him. Jake's jaw tightened. "I paid last week." Bounced check. Again, the manager walked away. Inside, Emma sat on the bed, doing homework. She was 7 years old and hadn't complained once about sleeping in motels, eating gas station sandwiches, or wearing the same 3 outfits to school. Jake's chest felt heavy watching her concentrate on her math problems. His phone buzzed. Another rejection email that made 17 job applications in 2 weeks. Nobody wanted to hire a former Marine with a dishonorable discharge on his record, even though it wasn't his fault. The injury had ended his service. The pain medication had ended everything else. 6 months of pills had turned into dependency. When he tried to stop, his commanding officer found the empty bottles. Dishonorable discharge for substance abuse. No benefits, no pension, nothing. His ex-wife Sarah had walked out when the money disappeared. Took their son Tyler with her, said she couldn't watch Jake destroy himself. Emma had been visiting that weekend, and Sarah never came back for her. That was 4 months ago. Before we continue, let us know in the comments where you're watching from, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Jake checked his bank account. $43. The truck needed gas. Emma needed food, and now they needed a new place to sleep in. 48 hours. He walked outside to clear his head. The motel sat on Highway 87, just outside Austin. Traffic roared past. Nobody stopped. Nobody looked. A woman was checking into the room next door. She had gray hair pulled back, leather jacket, and moved like someone who'd seen hard things. She glanced at him, then at the eviction notice, then back to him. "Rough day?" she asked. Jake didn't answer, didn't want pity. She nodded and went inside. Through the thin walls, Jake heard her making phone calls, lots of them. Her voice was calm, but firm. Someone used to giving orders. At midnight, Emma finally fell asleep. Jake sat in the chair by the window, watching the highway. His service pistol was in the glove box of his truck. He'd been thinking about it more lately. Dark thoughts that scared him. A knock on the door startled him. The woman from next door stood there. Behind her, Jake counted 6 motorcycles in the parking lot. Women on every one of them. "I'm Patricia," she said. "We need to talk." Jake kept his hand on the door. "About what?" "About what happens in 48 hours when you and that little girl have nowhere to go." His blood went cold. "How do you?" "I can read an eviction notice same as anyone. I also read people pretty well. 20 years in social services before I retired. You're not the first desperate parent I've met." Patricia gestured to the women behind her. "These are my sisters, not by blood, but by choice. We ride together, we look out for people together. I don't need charity." "Good. Because I'm not offering any, I'm offering work." Patricia pulled out a business card. "I own 3 restaurants in Austin. One needs a night manager. You'd supervise staff, PAL deliveries, manage inventory. It pays $14 an hour to start. Not great, but it's steady." Jake stared at the card. "Why would you hire me? You don't know anything about me. I know you're keeping it together for your daughter. I know you haven't given up yet, or you wouldn't still be applying for jobs." Patricia's eyes were sharp. "I also know what rock bottom looks like, and you're standing on the edge right now. You can either grab the hand I'm offering, or fall." One of the other women spoke up. "We've all been there, honey. Different situations, same desperation. Patricia pulled me out of an abusive marriage 5 years ago. Gave me work, gave me mess." Another woman nodded. "She helped me get clean when my family gave up on me." Jake felt something crack inside his chest. "I can't pay for childcare. We run a daycare out of the back of one of the restaurants. Emma can stay there while you work. Free of charge." Patricia crossed her arms. "But I need an answer now. My night manager quit yesterday. You can start tomorrow, or I find someone else." Emma's voice came from behind Jake. "Daddy, who are these ladies?" Jake turned. Emma stood there in her pajamas, rubbing her eyes. Patricia smiled at her. "We're friends of your dad's." "Sort of. I'm Patricia." Emma walked up and looked at all the motorcycles. "You have bikes?" 20 of them. We're a riding club. We go all over Texas helping people who need it." Patricia knelt down to Emma's level. "Your dad's thinking about coming to work for me. What do you think?" Emma looked up at Jake. Will we have to leave the motel? Yeah, baby, we have to leave anyway. Will we have another motel? Jake's throat went tight. He didn't have an answer. Patricia stood up. I've got a trailer behind one of my restaurants. Previous manager lived there. It's small, but it's got 2 bedrooms, working plumbing. And it's free until you save enough for something better. Part of the job. Jake tried to process it. Job, housing, childcare, from a complete stranger. What's the catch? No catch. But I don't tolerate drama, theft, or showing up impaired. You mess up, you're gone. You work hard, you get promoted. Simple as that. Jake showed up at the restaurant at 9 p.m. Patricia's place was called The Crossroads, a diner that served truckers, bikers, and late-night workers. The smell of coffee and grilled onions hit him immediately. Patricia introduced him to the staff. Maria handled the register. Tom worked the grill. Lisa waited tables. They all looked skeptical when Patricia told them Jake was the new night manager. He's got no experience, Tom muttered. He's got leadership training from the Marines and he needs a chance. Give him a week before you judge. Patricia handed Jake an apron. You'll learn by doing. Watch everything tonight. Ask questions. Tomorrow you start taking over. The first night was overwhelming. Orders came in constantly. Deliveries arrived at random times. The coffee machine broke twice. A drunk customer tried to leave without paying. Jake's head spun trying to keep up. But his military training kicked in. He started treating it like a mission. Prioritize, delegate, execute. By 3 a.m., he'd found a rhythm. Emma slept in the daycare room in back. Patricia had set up a small bed for her there. Jake checked on her during his break. She was curled up with a stuffed bear one of the biker women had given her. The trailer was tiny. One bedroom had a twin bed for Emma. The other barely fit a full mattress for Jake. But it had a lock on the door. Heat, running water. After months of motels and his truck, it felt like a palace. Patricia stopped by the second night. How's it going? Better. I think I'm getting the hang of it. Good. Because I'm about to make it harder. She handed him a schedule. You're doing inventory orders, starting tomorrow. Keep the costs down, but don't run out of stock. It's a balancing act. Jake studied the numbers. I can do this. I know you can. Otherwise I wouldn't have hired you. Patricia poured herself coffee. Can I ask what happened? What put you in that motel? Jake hesitated, then told her everything. The injury, the pills, the discharge. Sarah leaving with Tyler. Patricia listened without judgment. You still taking pills? No. I quit cold turkey 3 months ago. Worst 2 weeks of my life, but I did it. Good. Because if I find out you're using, you're done. I don't care about second chances when kids are involved. I understand. Do you see Tyler? Jake's jaw clenched. Sarah won't let me. Says I'm unstable. She filed for full custody. Hearings in 2 months. Then you better make sure you've got your life together by then. Show the judge you're employed, housed, and capable. Patricia stood up. We'll help you, but you have to do the work. By the end of the week, Jake had memorized the routine. The other staff warmed up to him. Maria started calling him boss, without the sarcasm. Tom taught him grill shortcuts during slow periods. Emma adjusted faster than Jake expected. The daycare had 3 other kids whose parents worked various shifts. She made friends quickly, started smiling more. On Sunday, Patricia's entire riding club showed up for breakfast. 20 women on motorcycles, filling the restaurant with leather and laughter. They watched Jake work, assessing him. One woman, named Carmen, cornered him by the coffee station. Patricia doesn't help just anyone. She sees something in you. Don't make her regret it. I won't. Good, because we protect our own. And if she's vouching for you, that means you're part of the family now. But families have standards. The letter came on a Tuesday. Sarah's lawyer had filed a motion to terminate Jake's parental rights entirely. Not just deny visitation, actually remove him as Tyler's father legally. Jake read it 3 times, his hands shaking. The document listed his discharge, his homelessness, his inability to provide stable housing or employment. It was dated 2 weeks ago, before Patricia had hired him. He called the court-appointed attorney. The man sounded bored. It's pretty standard in these cases. Mother has stable home, steady income, no substance abuse history. You've got a dishonorable discharge and you were living in motels. Judge will probably side with her. I have a job now. And housing. For 2 weeks. Judges want to see long-term stability, At least 6 months. You should probably just accept supervised visitation and move on. Jake hung up. He wanted to punch something. Patricia found him in the storage room, breathing hard. What happened? He showed her the papers. She read them carefully. This is garbage. You're Tyler's father. They can't just erase that. Apparently they can. Not without a fight. Patricia pulled out her phone. I know a lawyer. She owes me a favor. Handled my divorce pro bono years ago. Let me make a call. I can't afford a real lawyer. Did I ask if you could afford it? Stop assuming everyone wants your money. Some people just help because it's right. The lawyer's name was Rachel Hong. She met Jake at the restaurant the next day, reviewed the case, and got angry. Actually angry. This is bullshit, Rachel said. Dishonorable discharge doesn't make you an unfit parent. Substance abuse that you've overcome doesn't make you unfit, and you've been clean for 3 months with proof of employment and housing. Your ex is trying to steamroll you because she thinks you won't fight back. Can we win? Maybe, but we need to show the judge real change. Steady employment isn't enough. We need character witnesses. We need proof you're in Emma's life consistently. We need to show you're taking steps to improve yourself. Patricia jumped in. I'll testify. So will my whole riding club. We've seen him with Emma. We've seen him work his tail off. Rachel nodded. That helps. But Jake, you need to do more. Get into counseling, even if you don't think you need it. Judges love to see parents taking mental health seriously. Join a SAKE group for veterans. Document everything good you do with Emma. School pickups, homework help, all of it. I work nights. I sleep during the day. When do I have time for counseling? Make time, or lose your son permanently. Your choice. Jake felt the weight of it, crushing him. But he nodded. Tell me what to do. Over the next month, Jake's schedule became brutal. Work from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Sleep until noon. Counseling at 1 p.m. twice a week. Veterans support group on Wednesdays. Emma's school coop at 3 p.m. Homework and dinner. Sleep a few more hours. Back to work. Patricia's biker club rallied around him. Carmen drove Emma to school on mornings. Jake overslept. Another woman named Denise, a former teacher, tutored Emma for free. They rotated, making sure Jake ate actual meals instead of just coffee. Why are you doing this? Jake asked Patricia one night. She was quiet for a moment. I had a daughter once. She got into drugs at 16. I worked too much, didn't notice until it was too late. By the time I tried to help, she wouldn't listen. She died of an overdose at 23. Patricia's voice stayed steady, but her eyes were wet. I can't save her. But I can save people like you. People who are trying but just need someone to believe in them. Jake didn't know what to say to that. You remind me of her, actually. She was stubborn, proud, didn't want help even when she was drowning. Patricia smiled sadly. The difference is you're accepting the help. That takes more strength than most people have. The court date was set for December 15th. Jake had 2 months to prove he deserved to be Tyler's father. Sarah called out of nowhere on a Friday night. Jake was at work when his phone rang. I heard you've got a job, she said. No, hello. Yeah, for 6 weeks now. And you're living where? I've got a place. Emma's with me. Silence. Then, I want her back. Jake's blood ran cold. What? Emma. She should be with me and Tyler. You can't take care of her properly. You work nights. Who's watching her? She's in a safe place with childcare and in the back of a restaurant. That's not childcare, Jake. That's neglect. You abandoned her. You left her with me and never looked back. I left her with you temporarily because I thought you'd get your act together and give her back. Instead, you're dragging her through this mess you call a life. Sarah's voice got sharp. I'm filing for full custody of both kids. You'll get supervised visitation if you're lucky. She hung up. Jake stood there shaking. Tom noticed and took over the grill. Go take a break, boss. Jake went outside. The night air was cold. He wanted to scream, wanted to break something, wanted to disappear. Patricia's motorcycle pulled into the lot. She always seemed to show up exactly when Jake was falling apart. Sarah called, he said. And she wants Emma back. She's going for full custody of both kids. Patricia lit a cigarette. Of course she is. She sees you getting stable and it threatens her narrative. If you're not a disaster, she can't justify keeping Tyler from you. What do I do? You keep doing exactly what you've been doing. You show up. You work hard, you take care of Emma, you go to counseling. And when we get in front of that judge, you show him a man who's fighting for his children. Patricia blew smoke into the night. Sarah's betting you'll give up, prove her wrong. But the pressure kept building. Emma started having nightmares. She'd wake up crying, afraid Jake would disappear. The school called because Emma had a meltdown during class when another kid said her dad was a loser. Jake's counselor said it was trauma response. From the instability. From Sarah leaving, from the constant moving. Emma needed therapy too. More time, more money, more things Jake didn't have enough of. Then the restaurant got robbed. Jake was closing up at 5 a.m. when two men came in with guns. They cleaned out the register, $300, took Jake's wallet, threatened to shoot Maria if Jake didn't open the safe. He opened it. They took $2,000 and ran. Police came, took statements. Left. The owner's insurance would cover it, but Jake felt like he'd failed. He was supposed to protect the place. Supposed to keep people safe. Patricia showed up while the cops were still there. Looked at Jake, looked at the empty safe. You did the right thing, she said. Money can be replaced. You can't. But Jake couldn't shake the feeling of helplessness. The same feeling from the motel, from the discharge, from Sarah taking Tyler. He went back to the trailer and sat in the dark while Emma slept. The thoughts came back. The dark ones. The ones about how everyone would be better off without him. His phone buzzed. Text from Patricia. Don't you dare. How did she always know? The custody hearing arrived faster than Jake was ready for. December 15th. Cold morning. Federal courthouse, downtown. Rachel met him outside. You ready? No. Good. Confidence is bad. Humble and honest is what we want. She straightened his tie. It was borrowed from Tom. Jake didn't own one. Sarah's going to make you look bad. Her lawyer's going to bring up everything. The discharge, the pills, the motel, the robbery. Let them. We've got our own story to tell. Inside, Sarah sat with her lawyer. She looked polished. Professional, like she had everything together. Next to her sat Tyler, 9 years old now. He'd grown since Jake last saw him. Tyler looked at Jake once, then away. That hurt worse than anything Sarah could say. The judge was a woman named Henderson. She looked tired, probably saw cases like this every day. Sarah's lawyer went first, painted Jake as an unstable addict who'd lost everything through poor choices, brought up the discharge, the failed drug test, the months of homelessness with Emma. This man exposed his daughter to dangerous living conditions while battling substance abuse, the lawyer said. He works nights in a restaurant where armed robberies occur. He has her sleeping in a daycare room instead of a proper home. He cannot provide stability. Rachel stood up for cross-examination. Mrs. Martinez, when did you last see Emma? Sarah hesitated. 4 months ago. And in those 4 months, have you called her? It's been complicated. Yes or no? Have you called your daughter in 4 months? No. Have you sent her letters, gifts, any communication at all? No. But you're here asking for custody of her. Interesting. Rachel sat down. No further questions. Then Patricia took the stand. She told the judge about finding Jake at the motel, about giving him work, about watching him fight every single day to be better. I've run restaurants for 20 years, Patricia said. I've hired hundreds of people. Most of them do the minimum. Jake does 3 times what I ask. He works nights, goes to counseling during the day, takes care of Emma, and never complains. The robbery wasn't his fault. He protected his staff. That's leadership. Sarah's lawyer objected. This woman has a financial interest in Mr. Martinez's success. She employs him. Her testimony is biased. Of course it's biased, Patricia shot back. I'm biased toward people who don't give up on themselves or their kids. If that's a crime, guilty as charged. The judge actually smiled. Emma took the stand next. Rachel had prepared her, but Jake's heart pounded, watching his 7-year-old daughter swear to tell the truth. Emma, do you like living with your dad? Rachel asked. Yes. Why? Because he takes care of me. He helps with homework. He makes sure I eat. He tucks me in. Emma's voice was small. Mommy left me. Daddy stayed. Sarah looked like she'd been slapped. Are you scared living with your dad? No. I'm scared Mommy will take me away from him. The judge leaned forward. Emma, what do you want? Emma looked at Jake. Then at the judge. I want to see Tyler. and I want to stay with Daddy. The judge took a 30-minute recess. Jake sat outside the courtroom with Patricia and Rachel. Emma was with Carmen in the cafeteria. How bad is it? Jake asked. Can't tell with Henderson. She's hard to read. Rachel checked her phone. But Emma's testimony was powerful. Kids her age don't usually articulate that clearly. She helped you. When they went back in, the judge had papers in front of her. I've reviewed all the evidence and testimony, Judge Henderson said. This is a difficult case. Both parents have made mistakes. Mrs. Martinez abandoned her daughter for 4 months. Mr. Martinez exposed his daughter to instability during his recovery from substance abuse. Jake's chest felt tight. However, I see a clear difference. Mrs. Martinez is asking for custody now that Mr. Martinez has stabilized. She had no interest when things were difficult. That's opportunism, not parenting. The judge looked at Sarah. You don't get to opt out of motherhood when it's hard and opt back in when it's convenient. Sarah's face went red. Mr. Martinez, on the other hand, has demonstrated consistent effort to improve. He's employed, he's housed, he's in counseling. He's fought for both his children, despite significant obstacles. Judge Henderson looked at Jake. I'm granting you full physical custody of Emma. Mrs. Martinez will have supervised visitation every other weekend. Jake couldn't breathe. As for Tyler, I'm ordering a gradual reunification process. Supervised visits starting next month. If those go well, unsupervised visits. The goal is joint custody within 6 months, assuming Mr. Martinez maintains his current trajectory. It wasn't everything, but it was enough. Outside the courthouse, Patricia hugged Jake. You did it. We did it. I couldn't have done this without you and the club. That's what family does. We show up. Emma ran up, and Jake picked her up. She wrapped her arms around his neck. Are we going home? Yeah, baby. We're going home. Tyler walked past with Sarah. He glanced at Jake. Just for a second, but Jake saw something there. Maybe hope. Maybe curiosity. Tyler, Jake called out. The boy stopped. I love you, and I'm not giving up on us. Tyler nodded. Just barely. Then Sarah pulled him away. But it was something. 3 months later, Jake got promoted to day manager. Better pay. Better hours. He moved into a small apartment with 2 real bedrooms. Emma decorated hers with posters and stuffed animals. Tyler came for his first unsupervised visit on a Saturday. They went to a park, didn't talk much at first. Then Tyler asked about the Marines, about what happened. Jake told him the truth. All of it. Dad, Tyler said as they were leaving. Yeah? I missed you. Jake's eyes burned. I missed you too, buddy. Patricia's biker club became regular fixtures in Jake and Emma's life. Carmen taught Emma to ride a bicycle. Denise helped her with reading. Patricia took them on their first motorcycle ride. Emma, in a sidecar, squealing with joy. Why did you really help me? Jake asked Patricia one night at the restaurant. She poured 2 coffees. Because somebody helped me once, when I was at my lowest. And she told me that when I got through it, I had to pass it on. Help the next person who needed it. Patricia smiled. You're going to do the same someday. You'll find someone at rock bottom, and you'll pull them up. That's how this works. Jake nodded. I will. I know, that's why I picked you. A year after the custody hearing, Jake had joint custody of Tyler. The boys shared a room when Tyler visited, staying up late talking. Emma adored having her brother back. Sarah called one night. I'm sorry, she said. For leaving. For trying to take them from you. You're a better parent than I gave you credit for. We both made mistakes, but we're fixing them. Yeah, we are. Patricia retired from the restaurant business and handed Crossroads to Jake. You've earned it, she said. Build something good here. The biker club still met there every Sunday. 20 women who'd saved Jake when he had nothing, who'd shown him that family wasn't just blood. It was people who showed up when you needed them most. Jake stood in the restaurant one Sunday morning, watching Emma serve pancakes to the bikers while Tyler helped in the kitchen. He thought about the motel, the eviction notice, the dark thoughts, and he thought about Patricia's hand reaching out in the darkness. Sometimes salvation came on motorcycles. Sometimes it came from strangers who refused to let you fall. Sometimes it came because one person decided you were worth saving. Jake had lost everything, his career, his marriage, his dignity. But he'd gained something better, a real family, purpose, hope, and he'd learned the most important lesson. When life knocked you down, you didn't have to get up alone. You just had to be brave enough to grab the hand reaching down to help.